奪ってしまわないとね。ネバネバネット。
水流連打。
Hey everyone, it's Mark. This is my recap for Pokémon Journeys episode 80, a trial mission, Volcarona's Golden Scales. This was the 1165th episode of the Pokemon anime, and GOH'S first trial mission. There's a lot to talk about this week, so let's get into it. Well, before we do, I just wanted to say that I am really close to hitting 3,000 subscribers, and I know that most of you watching this right now are not subscribed to my channel yet. I would really appreciate it if you'd consider hitting subscribe, and you might just be lucky number 3,000. Anyways, let's dive into this episode. The episode starts in Alola of all places as we see Tsurugi overseeing the safe return of that Alolan Ninetales that Go caught from back before to Mount Lanakila, and Tsurugi tells it to not get captured by hunters again. Asahi shows up and they talk about how they know where the hunters are, so they're headed there now. Then she asks Tsurugi if he's curious about Go at all. He brushes it off, but like Asahi points out, we all know he's keeping his thoughts and feelings to himself. By the way, it's still weird that we don't know these two's dub names yet, and it's gonna take until like December before we learn them probably. I guess we'll just have to continue with Asahi and Tsurugi for now. Cut to the Cerise lab, and Go just got sent his first trial mission. Apparently, he can pick between 3 options. It would have been cool to know what the other options were, but for now, we just learn about the mission that he chose, which is to gather Volcarona's Golden Scales, whatever that means. Professor Cerise and his assistants tell them all the info about Volcarona that they can, and Go decides that the best place to look is the ruins of the Titan in the desert resort. This was the place that they went to in episode 14 of Journey, so I guess I can call it by its dub name, the Colossus Ruins. Once there, they immediately run into the excavation leader from episode 14. I love to see this enchanting fellow make his return. He tells them that Volcarona has stopped appearing in the desert resort thanks to hunters trying to steal Pokemon recently. But he also shows them this mural that talks about how Volcarona is the god of fire or something like that. It sounded cool, but ultimately this didn't really matter too much. He just tells them to go check out this nearby town and search for Volcarona there. The town is old and abandoned, so they head for this mine shaft and run into a Roggenrola, which Go immediately catches after a quick snipe shot from Inteleon. They eventually use an old minecart and an elevator to go deeper into the cave, and they end up in this more open area. They immediately run into this guy getting chased by a Ferrothorn, and I mean, one look at this guy and I knew he was going to be a Pokemon hunter. There was no doubt in my mind. Go uses Cinderace to handle the Ferrothorn, and after he catches it, the rando who is getting chased by it says that he's also looking for Volcarona, but just look at that gleam in his eyes, we all know he's up to something. They pretty quickly stumble upon some eggs, and the sketchy guy deduces that they must be Larvesta eggs. This was when our totally innocent friend reveals his true intentions, and he traps the boys up against a wall with his Galvantula sticky web. Some actual Larvesta show up to try and stop him from stealing the eggs, and they knock out his Galvantula in one hit. The Larvesta start going wild, trying to get the eggs back, and after setting most of the nearby area on fire, Ash and Go's net gets melted, allowing Ash to stop the hunter, while Go tries to convince the Larvesta that they mean no harm, which he succeeds in doing. However, the entire area is now on fire, so they call out their water Pokemon to try and put it out, but the flames are too much for them. I mean, it would probably help if Inteleon wasn't using such a pathetic snipe shot to try and douse that fire, but oh well, at least we got to see Dracovish in action for the first time in 15 episodes. Guess who shows up to save the day? It's another Larvesta, and this one is shiny. It immediately evolves, and we've got the shiny Volcarona that we've been after. How convenient. And this god of fire sucks up all the flames and absorbs them, I guess? After the danger is over, Volcarona gives everyone a golden shower. Wait, I cannot say that. How about Volcarona's golden scales rain down, and Go collects them, completing his first trial mission. Well, that was easier than I expected it to be. The episode isn't over yet though. They head outside and see the hunter there waiting for him. And he's got backup. Uh-oh. Grookey and Pikachu jump into action, and this just made me laugh, because what in the world did Grookey think it was going to do here? Fun fact, Grookey has been in the anime for over 20 episodes now, and it has yet to use a move. Seriously, it hasn't used a single move. This thing may as well just be an inanimate object that Go wears as a clip-on accessory. Why did this thing have to replace Sobble? Alright, I need to pull myself together here, and so do Ash and Go, who look like they're in a tough spot. But guess who shows up to save the day? It's Asahi. She makes her entrance all cool like an action hero, and oh yeah, Tsurugi is here too. Obviously, this is tied back to the beginning of the episode when they said that they had identified where the hunters were, so evidently these yahoos are the same jerks that tried to poach the Alolan Ninetales. Asahi and Tsurugi send out their Urshifu, and although we have already seen Tsurugi's single strike Urshifu in action, now we get to see Asahi's rapid strike Urshifu for the first time, and it's obviously a beast. After wiping the floor with the hunters, Asahi confirms Go's golden scales and delivers him his first trial token. But Go is a little embarrassed that he had to be saved by these guys again. And what was honestly the biggest surprise of the whole episode to me, it's actually Tsurugi that comes to his defense here, who says that they didn't actually save them. They just dealt with the Pokemon hunters. I mean, he was saying this because he didn't want to make it look like he cared about saving Go, but oh well, at least it's something. Hodaka is here as well, and the episode wraps up with Go having completed his first trial mission and the hunters being arrested. The narrator even says that Go spectacularly cleared his first trial mission, which I would not totally agree with, but I'll talk more about that in the next section. I'm giving this episode a 7.5 out of 10 rating. No bingo spaces to talk about in this episode, and overall, I just thought this episode was fine. I definitely enjoyed it, but I can't help but feel a little underwhelmed by Go's first trial mission. I mean, they stumbled upon the shiny Volcarona kind of easily in my opinion, and he did need Asahi and Tsurugi's help to get out of there in one piece. I don't know, I guess I just expected more from Go's trial missions, quite honestly. It was pretty cool seeing him be able to quickly figure out that they should head to the Colossus ruins, and I am obviously a big fan of the enchanting leader returning, and we got to see a number of Ash and Go's main Pokemon as well, which doesn't normally happen. But still, there was nothing epic that happened in this episode. Both of the two prior Project Mew episodes were epic and had amazing scenes like battling Moltres or having Regice appear out of nowhere. This felt like a step down from that. Again, I am giving it a 7.5 out of 10. I definitely like this episode, and it's rated higher than a lot of other Journeys episodes, but it just wasn't my favorite or anything. Maybe I just had too high of expectations going into this one. I don't want to dwell on this point too much, but it was kind of disappointing to see Ash and Go be the damsels in distress. That is not the right word, but let's run with it. They needed to be saved by Asahi and Tsurugi. It would have been awesome to have Ash and Go fight off these hunters by themselves, and I definitely think they could have, but they didn't, okay? I definitely would have preferred to see them get this job done by themselves, but for whatever reason, they decided to focus on Asahi and Tsurugi in this episode more than I anticipated. It was actually one of my concerns going into this episode that Ash, Asahi, and Tsurugi may hog some of the spotlight from Go, since this is supposed to be his episode, his own story. I guess it's early though, I can't expect Go to be totally awesome in every way just yet. Speaking of Asahi and Tsurugi, their dynamic is a really interesting one. I feel like we all have a good grasp on Asahi's character. She may be blunt, but she is very helpful. Tsurugi is a lot colder, and they've hinted a few times in this episode about how he feels about Go. These two are definitely rivals. It's just a weird dynamic between two rivals, since they're not battling each other or anything like that. They are technically on the same team. We still don't know any of the other team members of Project Mew either. Aside from Gary, all we have seen is these three, and there's still so much to explore. Considering the pace so far, I would expect the Project Mew storyline to take a long time to finish, probably right before or after Ash has to battle in the Master Class one day. Another thing I wanted to point out in the discussion portion of this video is that after watching this episode, I think it is far less likely now that Hodaka and the others are evil. That was a hot topic of speculation and theorizing after the last Project Mew episode, but I feel like this episode really threw me off that line of thinking. Asahi definitely seems legit, and Tsurugi, well, there's definitely some more backstory to him that we'll learn about one day. As for Hodaka, Hodaka, well, he led the charge in chasing down the hunters this episode, which seems like a good thing to do. I mean, unless Hodaka is secretly a rival hunter in some weird plot twist, but I doubt it. Prior to this episode, I thought there was a pretty decent chance that Hodaka and the others actually had some kind of evil character twist behind them, but after watching this episode, I now think that's pretty unlikely. It's still possible, but I think it's unlikely. Alright, what's up next? Well, a complete filler episode about blue Pokemon. What? Alright, well, that's all my analysis on that subject. Speaking of what's up next though, let me give a quick plug to some other videos on my channel. I know only the real fans are watching the video by this point, so I know you guys actually care. I had originally planned on making a video about that new animated series called Pokemon Evolutions, but well, after watching the first episode, I genuinely have no interest in making a video about that. Sorry if you were expecting one. I did already put out a new video this week though. I'm assuming most of you have seen it already, but if not, check out my thoughts on who I think Ash could battle in the Ultra class, as well as my theory about how I think/want the Master class to play out. Additionally, it's Ash Ketchum Day later this week, so I've been working on a pretty big video to celebrate. The top 10 gym battles of all time. That's definitely the best, most important list ranking video that I've done yet, so I am really looking forward to that one. With all of that out of the way, let me know what your thoughts are about this episode down in the comments, or come discuss it with me over on my Discord server. I've already done more shoutouts and plugs in this video than normal, so I may as well continue, right? If you're interested in interacting with other Pokemon fans and talking about Journeys, any other series of the anime, or any video games, then you'll like my Discord server. It's a fun place to be, I can guarantee it. That's also the only place where I get to talk about sports. I don't think most of my viewers are interested in sports all that much, but if you want to hear me talk about soccer, fantasy football, or even the college football games that I've been going to in person, there's a space for that too in my server. It's a nice change of pace from talking about the anime sometimes.
Well, a guy can't just watch Pokemon all the time.
Anyways, thanks so much for watching this video. Be sure to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time.